Why is the auxiliary function that little mentor voice within us that we don't really want to listen to? And what can you do about it? What's up, team? It's Sherman here from Geek Psychology. So I get this question a lot. Why is the auxiliary function actually the key to growth? Like, how does it really help me? How does it get me to what I want when the tertiary function just sounds so much better, right? It's so much easier to listen to. So why is the auxiliary function the one that I and a lot of other people are like hounding on as the key to growth? So I'm going to break that down in this video. We're going to talk a little bit about it, bring in the hero's journey a little bit, and then I'll go through briefly how it works for each of the groupings, like EPs, EJs, IPs, IJs. All right, so let's just go into this little story right here, right? I'll talk about it from my perspective, as I usually do, because I'm an introverted feeler, perhaps. maybe there's a little bit of selfishness in there, but also it's really because I know my experience more, right? I can explain my experience more, and you can translate that onto how it works for you. So my tertiary function is introverted sensing. It's that methodical guardian. It's the keeper. It's the lore keeper. It's the one that's storing all the information, all the experiences, and recalling them and reviewing over them, right? To gather the information and organize it in a way that I can make decisions that really resonate with introverted feeling, that reflective empath type character, that energy within me that's kind of like a conscience. It's the one that's always advising me to follow the heart, right? To go with how I feel about things and evaluate my feelings, my emotions, and the decisions from there, and how it's going to impact people on an individual level. And then the auxiliary function, I know we're going backwards, but the auxiliary function is that voice that's like, hey, let's just keep expanding and exploring and creating, and it's like the alchemist just pouring potions, and it's going all over the place, right? It's the innovative explorer or alchemist, artificer, gunner, whatever you're thinking of it as. It's this kind of wildling type character. It's very creative, right? Very energetic, but it doesn't really fit well with the other introverted functions, right? It's extroverted. So for example, back in my days of clubbing and going out to bars and stuff, there would be somebody maybe I want to talk to, and I would make the decision, like, maybe I should talk to them. And then introverted sensing, my sidekick, my buddy over there, is saying, like, no, you shouldn't do that. Like, be safe. Protect yourself. You've talked to somebody before and that didn't work out, so why would you do it again, right? Or this person has, and then it's like bringing all these possible experiences in and extrapolating from there. It's passing it over from the tertiary function to the auxiliary function, from the sidekick to the mentor, and saying, like, well, what about this? What about this? What about this? And it expands out from there, right? If it was, for example, my health, fitness, I could be healthier. I could eat better. I could work out once in a while. And introverted sensing is like, let's just relax, calm down, slow down here. You're not in danger. You're comfortable right now. You could hurt yourself. I have tons of bodily injuries. I messed up my spine breakdancing and my knees rollerblading and taekwondo and stuff like that. Just injuries all over the place, right? So go into your experience and bring that up. And, well, you don't want to do that. You don't want to get hurt even more. It's happened before, right? So it's this voice that's saying, like, you don't really want to do this, do you? If I were to make an actual decision about something, like I'm going to make more money, I'm going to be wealthier, but I can't do it. I can't succeed. I'm not good with money. Introverted sensing, that tertiary function, the sidekick, is going to come in there and give me all the reasons that is true. Okay, and this works for you in whatever way it works for you with your cognitive function stack. And so what I'm saying here is the tertiary function is always going to be giving you the information that you want to hear, or the decision that's going to back up the information that you're perceiving. You're stuck in a problem, okay? And you don't get through it. You don't pass the problem. You don't succeed. You don't however you view your problem. You don't succeed by using the same approach over and over again, right? It's that Einstein's definition of insanity, right? You need to take a new approach to get new results. If, as an introvert, if you're always looping back and forth between the dominant function and the tertiary function, the hero and the sidekick, over and over again, you're taking the same approach, essentially. You're going in your head, in your experience, in your thoughts, your body, your heart, whatever you want to call it, in your spirit, and you're just consulting with yourself over and over and over again. That's not how you take a different approach. It's good when it's good, but it's not always good, right? You need to support your decisions or your perceptions of the world, your worldview perhaps, with outer input, outer feedback, right? And extroverts, it's the flipped, right? If you're always taking action, you're always getting feedback, and you're making quick decisions, or you're staying buoyant and ready to jump on the next experience, you're going to need to slow down sometime in order to have that ballast, that stability that's going to really show your identity, right? Your internal world identity. It could be based on your past experiences or how you perceive the world, or your values, or your understanding of how the world works, your model of the world, right? Introversion needs extroversion. Extroversion needs introversion. You can't have that balance within the psyche if you don't have both, right? And if you're always trying to tackle a problem in the same way through introversion and extroversion, you need to adjust that, right? You need to bring in the other one. It's like if we're talking about the hero's journey, we'll use Dan Harmon's story circle because I like it. It's simple. You start with your ordinary world, your ordinary life, where you are right now in relation to everything, right? In this case, it's with a problem. And you need to do something. You need change. You see something, a desire, a want that you have, right? So you need to go to get it. You need to cross that threshold. You need to, even if you're the reluctant hero, you need to eventually go out on that adventure, or you're not going to change at all. Nothing is going to happen. And you're not going to be able to go anywhere if you're using the same orientation of extroversion or introversion. It's like if an extrovert is the hero of this story, and they're always out in the outer world, they need to go inward to get that deep discovery. An introvert, always being in here, needs to go out and get new feedback, or be able to present things in logically clear ways or emotionally clear ways to unify or, connect with other people or whatever it is. So you need to cross that threshold. And through that, you'll be able to search. You'll be able to find what you're going for, right? The long search, the long trials, tribulations, because it's always there. And then when you do find what you're looking for, the actual price to pay is that you're going to change. You're going to actually succeed with your goal. And part of you is essentially going to die, right? The one that is constantly doing things in the same way. The one that is constantly consulting, introverted sensing, that guardian that's very slow and childish for me, and kind of childlike and a little bit flimsy. He's not as strong as he could be, but I'm listening to him all the time, that's not actually going to get me anywhere. I need to go create new experiences. I need to go out there and I need to change things. I need to put myself out in order to get a reaction, to get some feedback so that I can check that against my introverted feeling and see, am I actually who I feel that I am? And my response, or actually other people's response to how I portray things, might not be what I intended. And if that's the case, then I need to work on how I express that, right? And that's all through feedback. If I just kept it within my head, then I would never know that. You find what you need, you take it, right? You kind of pay the price, you change, but actually before that, you're returning back to your problem. You're returning to go home, to solve that problem, bringing in the other orientation with it, bringing in extroversion to help you make better decisions with your introverted feeling, bringing in the introversion to help you settle into, for example, your experiences and how those experiences form your identity as an ESJ. Okay, and so through doing that, you're taking that home, and that's how you actually change yourself, and that's how you actually change the world or change your problem into something that you have succeeded with. Really quickly, let's just go over 4 different groupings. EPs, you're fighting that desire to have a quick result and make a quick decision to get feedback by going to your mentor and listening to that voice that you might not want to hear. That's the internal judging, introverted thinking or introverted feeling, right? That's slowing you down and like seeing, are you being honest with yourself, introverted thinking? Are you being true to who you are and your identity, introverted feeling? Okay, and so there's that back and forth right there. For EJs, it's about fighting that quick data, that quick feedback of information, right? Like making extrapolations or brainstorming, thinking of different ideas of why that information could support your decision. So that would be the ESJs. ENJs, it's that you're fighting that desire to just get into your body and just to take a physical action, to just do something to get a result. And instead of going to that really slow introverted intuition and letting your focus shift and your perspectives bounce back and forth until you have the true golden insight that might take a long time to find, So you're fighting that desire to have the freedom to make a lot of quick choices or relate to people or whatever it is, and execute on the things that you want to do. For IPs, I talked a lot about INFPs, but so the INPs, you're fighting that desire to be protected. INPs, introverted sensing is saying, be comfortable, stay back, stay within your experiences, within your comfort zone here. Don't stretch yourself too far because you don't know what's going on out there, and you've experienced a lot of hardship, right? And you don't want any more of that. The ISPs, it's within your mind and your unconscious that's looking into how other people are possibly reacting or possibly thinking. You might get a little bit, I suppose, a little bit paranoid about some things. You might assume other people's intentions are not as they really might be, but you don't know that until you take action, until you get into extroverted sensing. It's just that loop of internal world. You need to get some feedback from that mentor. You need to go out there and get some just new experiences that's going to give you data for you to funnel into your introverted thinking or introverted feeling. And for the IJs, it's this desire to stick with a decision. At least that's how I'm seeing it right now. It's, you're perceiving the world in whatever way it is, introverted intuition, or introverted sensing, your tertiary function is going to latch onto a decision and hold firmly to perhaps the strong feelings that are coming about of like pride or even maybe anxiety with it or perfectionism, right? And so you're fighting that desire to stick with that and feed it more and more information from your dominant function, which feels really good, from your hero. So what you got to do, you know this, is to go make decisions outside of yourself. Go interact with people if you're an IFJ. And it's going to hurt. It's going to be difficult. But put yourself out there. Get those experiences. Learn how to boost morale. Because you have a superpower within that, you know. And for ITJs, learn how the mechanics of things work so that you can get your goals and you can get other people to reach their goals as well. By being more strategic about it, right? By presenting your internal ideas of how the world works, your worldview, with a bit more clarity of logic, so that people don't think that you're just being intentionally confusing with the words that you use or something like that, right? You're bringing in a real clear, measurable way of approaching a goal. All right. So I hope this video was helpful. I know it's not easy. It's not easy to go into that auxiliary function, to listen to the mentor that's saying, train more, boom, just like beating you with this stick over and over again, right? Making you suffer out in the cold or whatever it is. But it's there for a reason. It's there to get you to the next stage. It's there for you to cross that threshold and to be able to come back to the problem or to yourself with a different viewpoint, a different perspective, a different tool, some more skill in something. And that's how you become a hero. Peace.